The self is God. If you realize yourself, you will realize that God is nowhere else but yourself. Sri Ramana Maharshi. For Ramana Maharshi, the light of enlightenment comes from a still silence, a silence that can bring the aspirant's whole soul into a state of absolute purity. He does not promise heaven. He does not talk about complicated rituals. He does not teach people to become. He only says one thing: go back and ask, who am I? It is not a philosophical question, but an invitation to return to the source of being. The moment one stops, no longer running away from oneself, no longer painting another image, the light of the self, Atman, Brahman, or God consciousness, will reveal itself. When we truly hear this teaching, a wonderful vibration spreads in our hearts, because deep inside each person, there is something that knows, yes, this is the truth. Through thousands of dialogues, a single message is repeated over and over again. There is no other way but to return to yourself. You yourself are the answer to all questions. So, what is the single most important thing to practice in this life? It is self-inquiry. Who am I? The core of Ramana Maharshi's wisdom, the only path, self-inquiry. Ramana Maharshi once said, "No discipline, no meditation, no ritual can lead to liberation if you do not know who you are." All spiritual paths converge on one point, the realization of your true self. But while most of humanity is searching for God somewhere outside, Ramana Maharshi smiled and asked, "Who is the seeker?" This very question opens the door to liberation. One, who am I? Not a question, but a path. The question, who am I, is not to be answered by reason, because any answer comes from the mind, and the mind is the veil between you and the truth. When you ask, who am I, and keep your attention in the feeling of presence, not looking for any answer, just looking deeply into the feeling of I am, the questioner disappears. Only pure presence remains, awareness. Ramana said, "You do not need to destroy the ego. Just find out where it comes from. When you find its source, it will dissolve like a dewdrop in the sun." That is the only practice that Ramana taught all his life. No ritual, no religion, no belief. Just be silent and look into yourself. 2. The difference between meditation and self-inquiry. In traditional meditation, people usually focus on one object, the breath, an image, a sound, or the name of God. But in self-inquiry, you do not focus outward. You return to the one who is paying attention. For example, when you say, "I am meditating," ask, "Who is meditating?" When you say, "I am breathing," ask, "Who is aware of this breathing?" When you say, "I am suffering," ask, "Who is suffering?" Gradually, you will realize that all these things, body, mind, emotions, thoughts, are just passing phenomena in the field of consciousness. And you, who are aware of all, are not born, not destroyed, not coming, not going. That is the self, Atman, which Ramana Maharshi called the heart. 3. Comparison with other spiritual paths. Bhakti Yoga teaches us to turn our hearts to God. Karma Yoga teaches us to act without self. Raja Yoga teaches us to control the mind. But Jnana Yoga, Ramana's path, goes beyond all of this. It adds nothing, but only removes all illusions. He said, "When you realize that there is no one to liberate, no place to go, and nothing to achieve, then you are free." The only thing to practice in life is to return to the self, because all paths begin and end here. Why people forget themselves? One need not learn anything new, but only forget the false. The real is always there. Sri Ramana Maharshi. There is a profound paradox in the spiritual journey. We do not need to achieve anything. we only need to stop believing that we are lacking. 1. When the light is covered by the veil of ignorance. Ramana Maharshi once said, "The light of the self is always shining, but when the mind starts moving, it creates the darkness of ignorance." In fact, we have never lost ourselves. The loss is just an illusion of the mind, like a cloud covering the clear sky. Imagine a bright sun that always shines. The sky never goes out of its light. It is just a temporary cloud covering it. In the same way, the self has never left you. It is still there, motionless, still, observing everything. But when the mind identifies with the body, with memories, with emotions, it begins to construct a false self, what Ramana calls ego. 2. The birth of ego, the seed of illusion. As soon as you think, "I am this body," an illusion is born. When you say, "I am this thought," you have left reality. When you identify with memories, emotions, past, or roles, you have stepped out of the house of the self. Ramana Maharshi said, "The ego has no independent entity. It is only the reflection of the self in the mirror of the mind. When the mirror is cleaned, the reflection disappears." So what does cleaning mean? It is not removing thoughts, but seeing them as passing phenomena in you, not you. A person who does not know who he is, even if he lives 100 lives, is still lost in a dream. 3. The ego and its disguise. Ramana used to say, "The ego is the great imitator. It does not really exist, but it knows how to disguise itself to make you believe that it is you." Observe, when you are proud of your success, who is saying, "I have done it"? When you are hurt by someone, who is being offended? When you are afraid, who is trembling? If you look deeply, you will see that the offended one or the fearful one are just images created by the mind, not the real you. Ramana taught, the ego is a thought. Without the thought of I, there is no world. Trace the thought of I to its root, the world disappears. When you stop and look at the thinker, you find nothing to cling to, only emptiness, silence, clarity. 4. The root of ignorance, identification with body and mind. Ramana Maharshi once asked a disciple, "If I say, 'This is my body,' then the body cannot be me. If I say, 'This is my mind,' then the mind cannot be me. So who is this I who is speaking?" People fall into ignorance because of identification with impermanence. The body changes, emotions change, memories change, but the sense of presence within you never changes. You are still the one who knows that you are, whether you are 5 or 80. When you forget that, you start running after countless images of becoming better, richer, more enlightened, more virtuous. But that very effort to become is the source of suffering. Ramana said, "Stop. Don't try to become someone else. Just ask, who is the one who wants to become?" 5. Ignorance as a dream, when you believe you are awake. An example Ramana often used. In the dream, you see yourself running, fighting, crying. But when you wake up, you realize that the runner, the chaser, and the whole dream are just your mind. In the same way, in the dream of life, you believe that there is a separate I, struggling, fearing, hoping. But when you wake up, you realize that everything is just movement in the universal consciousness, and you are that consciousness. The separate I exists only when you believe that you are separate from the whole. Once that belief is gone, all boundaries are gone, and you are no longer a person in the world. You are the world. 6. Silence, the door beyond the mind. Ramana Maharshi taught that truth cannot be understood by thinking. He said, "Silence is the deepest teaching. All questions disappear in silence. because only in silence can you see yourself. When the mind is silent, all images dissolve. There is no more observer, no more observed. There is only pure reality. And in that moment, self-forgetfulness ends. You do not need to make an effort to find yourself, because you have never left. You just need to stop and listen to the life breathing within you. 7. From ignorance to wisdom, the journey without movement. In talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, someone asked, "If all is one, why am I still not seeing it?" He replied, "Because you are looking with your eyes turned outward. Turn around. Look at the one who is looking." This is the key to awakening. We don't have to go anywhere. We just have to reverse the direction of our attention from the outer world back to the inner center of consciousness. From there, you realize that the spiritual journey is not about going from one place to another, but about falling into where you are. You don't go toward God. You fall into Him because He is who you are. The technique of self-inquiry, the path of return to yourself. Self-inquiry is not thinking, but returning to the source of the thinker. Sri Ramana Maharshi. 1. Self-inquiry, the path without steps. Ramana Maharshi called this path Atma Vichara, the inquiry into the self. He once said, "All other practices require a practitioner and a goal to reach. But self-inquiry only stops at the practitioner, and when the practitioner disappears, only the truth remains." Unlike traditional meditation, self-inquiry does not focus on an object, such as breath, sound, or light, but returns to the person who is aware of that object. It is a 180-degree reversal of attention from the world outwards to the interior, from all things to I. 2. How to begin. The art of asking the right question. Ramana teaches that the question, "Who am I?" is not an inference, but an arrow shot straight into the center of consciousness. That question needs no answer, because when there is no answer, you fall into silence, where only knowing remains. Let's start very simply. Sit still, back straight, relaxed, eyes half closed or closed. Take a deep breath, exhale gently, let the body fall into silence. Keep your awareness on the question, "Who am I?" or in Sanskrit, ko aham. Don't look for an answer in words. Don't try to analyze. Let the question become a fire that burns away all thoughts. When a thought arises, "I am breathing, I am thinking, I am feeling," immediately ask, "Who is breathing? Who is thinking? Who is feeling?" Every time you ask, you withdraw the energy of the mind from external images and bring it back to the still center within. At that moment, the mind loses its grip and the ego gradually dissolves. 3. Ask with presence, not with the mind. Ramana used to say, "Do not repeat the question like a mantra. Ask with your whole soul." Asking, "Who am I?" is not an intellectual exercise, but a return to the very spot of consciousness. The question must come from the heart that is hungry for truth, not from the mind that is wanting to understand. When you ask with aliveness, as if you really want to know who you are right now, the energy of the question penetrates all the veils, and you feel a luminous silence in your heart. That is the sign that you have touched the source. Ramana said, "A genuine question is a fire. If you let it burn long enough, the questioner himself is consumed, and only the light remains." 4. When the mind arises, don't resist, return. In your practice, you will see countless thoughts arise. Plans, memories, emotions, fears, daydreams. Don't resist them. Don't try to stop them. Just ask, "Who is seeing this thought?" As soon as you ask, the mind stops for a moment, because the thinker is illuminated. Just like when you shine a light into the darkness cannot exist. Always remember, the goal is not to extinguish the thought, but to realize who is aware of the thought. When you are in awareness, the mind automatically becomes transparent, and all disturbances dissolve into natural stillness. 5. The difference between attention and awareness. Ramana points out that most of us are attentive, but not aware. Attention is always directed to an object, something to observe. And awareness is the light that shines from within you, not directed anywhere. For example, when you look at a flower, you are focusing on the flower. When you know that I am looking, you are returning to the source of awareness. This distinction is subtle, but it is the key to enlightenment. You do not need to leave the object. Just shift the mind from the object to the knower. That is the moment the mind returns to itself. And there, you feel a profound peace, as if you have touched the sky within yourself. 6. When the question dissolves, only I am remains. Ramana teaches that the purpose of self-inquiry is not to maintain the question forever, but to let the question consume the questioner. When you question so deeply that you no longer seek an answer, you are left with a sense of pure presence, a sense of I am. No, who am I? No, what am I? Just I am. That is the source, the gateway to enlightenment. In that state, you do not need to do anything. No need to understand. No need to achieve. You just rest in being, and that being is God. Ramana called this state Sahaja Samadhi, natural stillness while still living, working, talking, and laughing. It is meditation in every moment, meditation without sitting in meditation.